Hello guys, if you like my awesome gaming videos, my programming and web development courses, my editing courses and editing videos, and my tech talks and tech guidance, then you can consider subscribing to my channel and click on this bell icon to stay connected with me all the time. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So this is another very important video for React Junior level developer, and this is the section for intermediate part. So the first question is, how many types of React router component that we have in React router? We have browser router, we have hash router that contains some hash in the routing or in the URL. You will see some hash. And the browser router, you don't need to use any hash, you don't have any hash in the URL, just normal routing system, okay, which is mostly used in React application. No, don't worry, I'm going to show you every single thing in practical with proper real world project and application. Okay, and then we have the memory router. Okay, so normally we use browser router, so this is the most important thing that you have to know. And then the question number 25, we have, what are the purpose of push and replace methods of history? So history is a thing that you can go from one page or one component to another component using the history.push method. Just think the history as an array of visited location. So it contains some visited locations in the array. Suppose you go from home page to about page, it contains the about page. Then you go to about page to contact page, it is having in the array location, it is having all those same thing that you passed. Suppose the first page you go to home page, then you go to the, again you use history.push to about page, it will go to the about page, and then you use the same method to go to the contact page. So it is adding one page, then next page, and the next page. So first you are going to home page, then about page, then contact page suppose, and it is adding all the things in the array. And what the replace method does, it replaces the current location in the array with the new one. So it is more efficient because you are replacing one to another. So it is not holding all the information in the history array. So it is much better, but normally in real application we use history.push a lot. Suppose if you want to go from about page to home page again, you just write history.push and give the URL or the path. This is the very simple thing. And then if you want to use replace, you just use history.replace and /home or about or whatever path that you have. That is very simple and easy how you can do that. Just remember that it is just adding, if you use history.push, it is adding all the paths and into the array, and if you replace, it is not adding a new thing, it is just replacing it with the current one. And then we have how to pass params or the parameters in history.push. So as you can see, if you use class component, you have to use this .props, but normally we don't use this .props in the functional component. We use just history.push, and in the object you can pass path, because push can take a path location, which path you want to go, and give the template name. And then it also contains some search parameters, because search parameters are also important in the URL. Suppose we have to search parameter by its name. As you can see, we have a name is equals to Adib, and you can use more. You can use and price is equals to something. You can use a lot of search parameters in the push. You can pass them, because sometimes we need that from one component to another component. We need to have the search query parameters, okay, which is also very important, which I'm going to talk about detail in the later part. And then we have state. You can pass state to one component to another component using history.push method. And as you can see, we have the response data. It means that I'm getting some information from the API, and it is holding into the detail object, and it is passing this object information to that page that we want to go. Suppose we want to go to home page, and home page will contain this data. Okay, so we can, in the history.push, we have three very important property, which is path name, which path it is going, and it can hold search query parameters, which is also very important, just very important, and in the state, which is holding all the state. Okay, and as you can see, we have a description here. The search property that you are using here is used to pass query params to in push method. In push method, we can pass those three: path, search, and state. So this is the part where I'm going to implement the whole container, how you can understand the React routing system very easily. You have to wrap your route. So the question is, how do you get router may have one child warning? Because when you use router, you need to contain everything within a router, okay, within everything in a router, and within a switch you just write your route, one route for each component. You will write it like this way. First we have the router, the top level, which is the browser router, and then we have a switch. If you match any path, it will go to that path. And using this switch block, we can ensure that, as you can see, we have to wrap your routes in a switch block, because switch is a unique identity in React routing component, that it renders a route exclusively. If the route matches with some route, it will directly go there, and if some route matches with another route, it will go there. So only the match, it will find the match component, that which route you are in, and it will go there. It will not go further. Okay, if it finds some match, it will stay there. Okay, it is just working as a switch in a programming language. If you see the switch, this is almost the same way. And in this way you can make not found page, which is also very useful. And so for the import, you need to first install npm react router DOM, and then you can import switch router route from react router DOM, and you can implement that. So as you can see in your application, if you see that, as you can see, this is our application which says that React routing basics, and this is actually their app.js. As you can see, we have a functional component. So normally I'm using all the functional components so that you can understand it very easily, because in the real world application the functional component is super important. We have 3 pages. We have about page, we have contact page, we have home page. So all of them are fresh, and I'm just importing that as well. So I just need to import it here. So before that, let me increase it a little bit. Let me increase the content a little bit. So first you need to install, suppose in the bash I'm going to install npm I react router DOM package. So if you install that, it will install your react router DOM. So if you go to the package.json, as you can see here, we have the react router DOM package with the, as you can see, the version 5.3.0 version. Okay, so in the app.js, which is our main file of the main root component, which is the app.js component, and here you can write import. Here we can write browser router, as you can see, browser router, and it is importing from react router DOM, and we can import it as alias as router, and we have route also. As you can see, we can have a route and we can have a switch, all of those things. We have browser router, we have route, we have switch, all of those things we need to import it. And just you can just remove it here, we don't need to have it. And in the fragment, as you can see, we have a fragment, and within the fragment you can write router. As you can see, we have the router, and that we just imported here. This is the router, and within the router you need to use switch. Okay, just use switch, and within the switch you need to wrap every single route. Suppose we have a route system, and we have a just write path, which is very important, and the path should be, suppose, our home. If we go to /home, it will render which component? It will render home component. And home component, as you can see, we have home, which is coming from these components. As you can see, components, we have home, contact, and about. So 3 pages we have. So let's copy this and just paste it here. And then we have the about page, and then it will render the about page if we go to this about URL. And if we go to contact, it will render contact component. So let's do this and just remove this thing. We don't need, just import home from component /home, import about from component about, and the same for the contact. So we are passing all of those things. So what it does, so our browser router is the main router, it is our head component, and within this main component, the routing system, we need to use switch, because if the path matches with the /home, it will go to the /home and it will not go any other places. So this is the beauty of switch. If you go to about, it will just stick to about. If we go to /contact, it will just stick to contact. But if you just write it like this way, as you can see, our server is running. If we go to /home, let me see, if we go to localhost 3000 /home, as you can see, we are going to the home. If you write contact, if you go to the contact page, it will go to the contact page. Okay, so it is very useful to use. If you don't use switch, you will have a lot of problem with it. If you just write, instead of home you are writing slash only, and if you go to localhost 3000, it will go to the home page. So let's see how it does. So as you can see, if I go to the localhost 3000, it will go to the home page. If I go to localhost 3000 / about, it is not going about page, because it is also matching this URL path / about and this / contact, because it is matching all of those things. So it will not work properly. As you can see, the routing system is not working here. If we go to contact page, it is not working at all. It is not working. So what you can do, you can write exact. If you write exact in any of those things, I think it will work really fine. So if you go to the exact this path, this home component will be rendered. If you go to the exact / about, it will render the about component. If you go to the / contact, it will exactly render the contact component. So this is a very simple thing structure how we can do that. As you can see, now we have the contact component. If we just go to about page, as you can see, it's working perfectly. So it is better to use exact, because if you use slash, okay. So normally I'm not using it, just keep it clean. You go to /home and letting it, you can use it, it's up to you, but I'm not using because I want to make it clean, okay. And if I go to /about, now it is working perfectly. Let's check it out one more time. If you go to /home, it will go to the home page. So this is working really fine. Now why we use switch? Because we can import another component, just make another component which is not found component, which is not found.jsx. So RAFCE to create a functional arrow functional component, and here I'm gonna write it as not found page. So this is a not found page. If any of the URL doesn't match, suppose we have the home III, and it is not going anywhere because this is not match URL. Okay, so how can we solve this problem? We can just pass here another route, and we need to render a component, and we need to render not found component. And as you can see, we have the not found is imported from the component not found. So this is the thing that we render, but we don't have to give any path, because this is just a random not found page. If any of the URL doesn't match, it will go to not found page. Okay, suppose I am going to /my name Adib, localhost 3000 /Adib. It is not found because this URL is not present. So if the URL doesn't match or the present is not present, it will show us not found page. And as you can see, if the path is not given, you will not find any of this thing in your URL. We are bound to go the not found page, which is very important in real world application. You will be using a lot. And we are going back to the question number 26, because we need to import and we need to do work with this functionality. So how to pass params? How to pass params to history.push method in React router? So this is also very important. How can you do that? Okay, so let's implement that and let's see how you can do this. So let's go to that, and if we go to the home page, suppose we are going to the home page, and this is the simple home page, and you can pass params from here. You can pass match here, and if you just console.log this match, if you console.log match of those things, if we go to home page and go to inspect, and if you go console, as you can see, if I zoom in here, as you can see in the object of match, we have the params, we have the path, and the path is /home. This is our main path, and our URL is also this, and our params is actually the object. As you can see, this is the object params. So we can go to the parameters, but exact moment we don't have any parameters passing from this URL. As you can see, we do not have any parameters. We can pass parameters using this ID. Suppose we are passing ID parameter, and here we can get it. Okay, if we go there and reload it, as you can see, we have the parameters here. We can pass any ID. Suppose I'm passing home /ID. as you can see, now we have parameters. As you can see, we have a path, we have a home, we have a params, and params has an ID, and this ID is this ID that we passed into this home URL. As you can see, from the app we are passing ID as a dynamic URL ID, and we are getting it. But this is very hectic. I don't use this kind of use pattern. I use a different kind of thing. I use const ID, and it is coming from useParams. This is a hook. This is a hook used for React routing system, as you can see. And if you just console.log this ID, you will see that ID. And as you can see, this is the same thing that we are printing here. This is the same thing. If instead of ID I write 1 2 3 4 5 6 and run it, as you can see, this is the ID that we are giving here, and this is all coming from the URL, dynamic URL from the path, and we need to pass it from our app.js. As you can see, we can pass it multiple parameters as well. You don't have to worry about it. I will talk about briefly later, and I just want to give you a simple idea how we can do that. Okay, so let's go and just remove this thing. So our go back to our main concept, which is this.prop.history.push. Okay, so we are going from one page to another page. How can we do that? So let's get into it and understand it. So let's understand history.push, and here I can using the const history, use history, and useParams is for getting all the params, and useHistory is to get the history function. And in the history stack we have a lot of things like history.push, history.push state, a lot of things. Now if we go to the history, and the history method, we have a push to push any stack or any new pages or the locations or the path name. You can replace it and the push it, whichever I already talked about the push and the replace. What they do, you can do a lot of things. You can go forward, you can go back, you can go to the directory of location, whichever location you are in. You can do a lot of things using the history. Okay, so this is very important. And if you just write history.push and history.push, you can go to about page. You can go from about page from one page to another page. Suppose you have a button, and in the button on click, okay, I want to do handle click and go about page. This button name is go about page, and just write it here, and we are getting the use history from the React router hook. And when we click on some button, suppose handle click, and we are using the arrow function, and this function is triggered when I click on this button go about page. It will just go to about page. So cut it and paste it. When I click on this button, it will go to the history.push, and it will go to /about. If you go to /about, it will go to the about page. As you can see, if we go to /about, it will render about page. So from home page we can directly go to the about page very easily. So make it smaller so that you can see the whole code how we are doing it. So we are using history, because from using the history hook we can go from one page to another page after certain thing is done. So after you log in, you need to go to register page, and after register page you need to go to the dashboard. You can go that, you can make a dashboard screen and just write dashboard. Okay, so here I'm just using the about page because we are currently on the home page. We want to go to about page. So let's see how it is done. So as you can see, we're on the home page. So let's delete this. We're currently on the home page. If we go to the about page, as you can see, we are redirected to about page. And not only that, you can do a lot of things. If we just write history.push, and here in the object you can pass history.push, you can just path name, and path name is actually the about, and in the about you can pass some parameters which is search, because in the push we can pass the path, whichever page we want to go. We can pass search parameters there as well. And suppose our name is adib, which is my name. You can pass one more parameter which is price, and price is equals to 400. So all of those things, let's make it simple and just pass only the name search query parameters, and you can pass any state. you can pass any state, and suppose you have information from the API and from the response and dot data. Okay, you will passing response to data in the from home page. This is actually the home page. As you can see, we are passing all this information to the about page. Okay, it will go to the about page with the search query parameters. You can pass all of those things. So let's just remove this thing, and you can do a lot of those things. And if you just write console.log now history, let's see what happens. Okay, so let's see what happens. If we go to home page, go to about page, as you can see, if we just zoom in, it will go into the slash name is equals to my name, whichever search query parameter that I passed here. And let's just inspect it, and let's go to console. As you can see, the object, we have the action of push. Okay, and we have the location, and in the location we have the key, we have a path which is slash about page, and the path name is slash about page, and we are using search query parameters which is name is equals to my name, and this name is coming from this search query parameters, and path name is equals to this one. So everything is working really fine. As you can see, we have push method as well. So everything is working super perfect. There is no problem whatsoever. We can pass a lot of information using this thing. So let's just use and delete everything. We don't need to use that. Let's jump into the question number 28. How to get query parameters or the search query parameters in React Router. There is two very important way, which is query string. But for query string, you need to import or install npm I query string. As you can see, for that you need to require query string, or you can write import query string from query string in the ES6 way, and you can just write query string.parse whatever information you wrote in the location.search. So here I have written the props.location.search. If you are using the normal way where you pass props, locations, history, all of those things, so just go there. As you can see, you can use query string.parse props.location.search. We need to get the location, and in the location we have a search, whatever thing we search. So for that we use normally we have to use the useLocation hooks, which have a location, and the location have a lot of things. Location can contain any search query parameters. As you can see, location contains search, and the normal conventional way, you need to write query is query string.parse, and then need to write a long text which is props. Then we need to go inside the location, and inside the location we need to go to search. But normally if you use useLocation, you can directly access the location.search, which is more very easy to use, I think. And you just need to write new URL search params location.search, and you just need to get it by name, whichever you give in the URL parameter, and you can get the name, the age, all of those things. So let's do it in a practical way and see how we can do that. So let's delete this thing, because I use normally I love to use the location. So const location is equals to useLocation, and useLocation is coming from the React Router DOM package. And here if you just console.log location, let's see what we have. So if you go to the home page, so we have to go to home page. For that, let's go to home page and go to inspect. We go to console, and the object, as you can see, we have a path. We have whichever path we have, which is we are in the home page, and then we have a search query parameter, but normally I didn't give any search query parameter, so it is not showing here. And this you can also pass the state. So location is holding path, search, and state. So location have like path, we have the search, whatever we search in the query parameters, and state. But we don't need to here the state, which is not needed at this moment, but this is the important thing. Okay, it holds only path and search, so make sure that. And then we need to just go const search params is equals to new URL search params to search whatever in the URL query string. And here you can go to location dot, as you can see we have path, you can do search. Let's do search, and here we need to print console.log search params. Let's see whatever we have. Okay, so let's see. As you can see, URL search params, as you can see, whatever we have, URL search params. So very simple. And the URL search params, what we can do, suppose we want the name, so name should be search params dot, as you can see, we have get, we have set, we have for each. You can do a lot of things, you can sort, you can key, this is a lot of things you can do. Just for that I need only get, and get the name property, and you can do for the age property as well. If you want to get that, get whatever you write in the age and just print it here. You can print it in h2 tag, which is name, and just write it the name that we just passed, as you can see, this name, and just copy the same thing. And this is for the age. For age we can pass this age. Okay, we want to render that thing, whatever we are getting from the search query parameters. As you can see, we can get it by name and get it by age. This is very simple and easy. Now what we can do, how we can pass it, as you can see, name and age, we need to put something. So let's go into the home page, and into the home page we can pass the name, and the name value should be this name, and we can pass the age as well. And let's pass age is equals to 30. Now as you can see, if we zoom in here, we just get the name and we get the age, and the name value is this value, this Adib, and age value is 30, as you can see. So if we go there, as you can see, search params.get, we are getting the property name and getting the property of age, and which is coming from the location.search, and the this is holding all the query params. As you can see, new URL search params. Now let's check in how to perform automatic redirect after login. So after you log in, how can you redirect from one page to another page automatically using programmatic way? Just use a simple use state hook to manage login state. If it just say it if it is a login or not, and if it is true, it will redirect it to the home page. If it is not true, just stay in the login page. This is simple dashboard concept. So this is very simple concept. So you just need to import something called redirect from React router, and you just do it and just use the redirect, and redirect has a to property, and it will go to whichever page or path you want to go. Suppose home page, you want to go to the home page, and if it is named as dashboard, you can go to the dashboard after the login is true or the login is success. Otherwise, if it is login is not success, or login is equals to false, then you can redirect to login page. Very simple concept. Let's try to implement using the redirect of React router. More page, which is, or the component which is login, which is login.jsx. Okay, so RAFCE to create a functional component, and here I'm gonna write it login page. So this is our login page. So here I need to implement that. Okay, so here I need to pass some use state, which is for the state management of the component label, and as you can see, we need to pass const, pass the state which is login, and set login. Okay, set login, and make sure you use state, and the default value is true because login is true. Suppose if login is true, we are going to one place to another place. Suppose if login is equals to true, okay, we need to redirect some places. So let's delete this thing and just write it in the second curly bracket, as you can see, and suppose our login is true. Okay, so login is equals to true, so we can write if login is equals to true, we're redirect, and the redirect should be imported from React router. We are redirect, and we are redirecting to which page. Suppose if you are logged in, you are redirect to home page. If you are not logged in, you should redirect to, and just pass true, and you need to go to stay in the login page. Okay, so and make sure it is slash, and if you are logged in, as you can see, if you are logged in is equals to true, then you redirect to the home page. Currently we are in the login page, so if you redirect is equals to true, we are going to the home page. So this is very simple stuff. And if you are not logged in, as you can see, the Turner operators is conditional rendering as well, you are going to the login page. So let's see how you can implement that. See, we need to import that as well, and we need to go to login, and here to import it, login. Okay, as you can see, it is passed. We'll go to the home page because we are logged in. So if you try to go to the login page, as you can see, it is redirecting to the home page because we already logged in. We cannot go to the login page. This is the important thing. So if we go to the login page, as you can see, if we are logged in, if your state is login is equals to true, we have to be in the home page. It will not go to the login page at all. So this is very important. So if you are logged in, suppose if you are not logged in, suppose if our login is equals to false, then we are going to the login page. Because we are not logged in, we need to log in. So if we try to go now the home page, as you can see, so login. So just write one more thing, which is login page. Okay, so to understand, this is a login page. As you can see, we can go to login page. As you can see, because our login is equals to false, we can go to the login page. Okay, so this is the functionality. So if it is not logged in, you can go to the login page, but if it is login is equals to true, if we set the true, it will obviously go redirect to the home page. As you can see, now if we try to go to login page, it will not work. It will redirect to the home page. As you can see, it's really nice and handy features how you can do that. And normally you don't need to write is equal to true. For if you want to use if and switch case, then you can use this, but normally in Turner operator you don't need to use that. So this is our last question for the React routing system, and how to get dynamic params from route path. So we already showed it in the beginning section of the video, how you can get dynamic parameters from our route path into the components. Suppose you use useParams to get all of those things. Suppose, as you can see, we have an example route exact path home / key, and the key that we want to pass from the app.js to the component home. And in the component home, you're going to utilize that useParams hook to get the key, whatever we set in the app.js path. Okay, the dynamic URL, you want to pass some ID. Okay, and suppose in the about you want to pass some name, and in the contact you want to pass ID and name. Okay, so in the about section or the contact section you need to pass ID, name, and in the home you need to pass ID, in the about you need to pass my name, and contact you need to pass ID and name. So 3 parameters in 3 components. So first we work with home. Let's go to the home, and in the home we need to use, suppose, useParams. You can use conventional way, which is match, and you can use match.params.id. you can just write it here, which is match.params.id, and this is the ID that we have passed. And as you can see, this is the ID that we have passed, which is the dynamic information. So if it is something else, suppose if it is match.params.key, it should be match.params.key, whatever we have. So this is the same thing, same logic. So save it, and we are just want to see what we get. So normally first we need to get some ID. Suppose ID is equals to 10, and as you can see, home page 10. So if it is ID is equals to 15, it is 15. So it is dynamic, completely dynamic. Whatever you pass in the URL, it will hold it. But this is not the best way. I just do a different way, which is hooks, const, and use object destruction, and use params to get all the parameters dynamically, and you just print it the ID. Okay, this is the same thing that we can do. If your ID is 16, it is 16. As you can see, it works flawlessly, and it is very clean and easy to use. Okay, so this is the simple thing. And then we have to go to the app.js. in the about our key name is name, and if you go to the about, and here I'm going to use const name is equals to useParams, and as you can see, we are accessing the name value. We don't need to use now match.params.name or match.params.id, but simply the name property that we passed here, we can get it using the useParams. And the about page, we can write name. Very simple and easy. We can go to about page. Suppose we are going to about page, and about page you need to pass some value, and this is my name and our name is this name. Okay, and this is very simple and very easy to do. Just pass whatever you get from the URL parameters or the URL or the path, you just give that value. Suppose here I have the name, I just access the name params here. Very simple and very easy. Whatever you write, it will work. If you use another name, suppose blah, it will work just like that. This is simple and easy. So if we go to the contact, I am passing ID and name. So if we go to the contact, and here I need to use params as well. Const, we have ID and name, object destruction as well, and use params. Okay, we have two information, which is ID and name, which is passing from the it is to this component, which is ID and name, which is dynamic. And just here we can just write in the h2 tag, ID is equals to ID, and you can write name is equals to name. So let's do this. And if we go to the contact, and the contact you need to pass, suppose we need to have a zoom, suppose my ID is 10 and my name is Adib, and as you can see, my ID and my name, all of the thing that I showed there is passed properly. And so this is the ID that we passed, and this is the name. So this is everything is working properly and perfectly. So this is all the basic that you need to do in the React routing system. So routing system is very important in every part and parcel of React projects, and in the big project it is also very important to know and understand and master. So thanks for watching. I'll be coming with a lot of amazing videos. In the next part, I'm going to talk about the React lifecycle method, which is also very important for any React developer guide. So thanks for watching. I'll be coming with the next video. Till then, take care, bye bye, and subscribe, share as much as possible, because I'm doing a lot of hard work for you to understand what is going on and help you guys even in my busy life. So I hope you guys will support me and help me in my long run. Okay, so till then, take care, bye bye.